Okay, right. So we finished with C. Next. Okay, so now we've got to mark D. Let's see. Consider the diagram. Uh-uh. Consider the diagram made up of black dots joined by thin black lines. Now at number 1, they're asking how many dots are there in figure 4. So the first figure had 5 dots. The second one had 8 and the third one had 11. So you would see that we had to add 3 every time, right? So the fourth one would then automatically have 14. You guys fine with that? Okay, then the next one, number 2 says, how many lines are there in figure 4? So at the first figure, there were 5 lines. At the second one, 10. Third one, 15. So you saw that we had to add 5 every time. So that's why at figure 4, I would have 20 lines. You fine with that? Good. Now at number 3, they're asking, how many dots are there in figure 8? So all I did is I kept on adding 3 until I got to figure 8. You guys okay with that? Must I show you? Okay. That was term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4. So term 4 was 14. And we know that we've got to add 3 every time. So term 5 would then be 17. Term 6 would be 20 because we're adding 3. Term 7 would be 20. What did I now say? 23, thank you. And then term 8 would be 26. Okay, I just kept on adding 3 every time. Okay, now number 4, they're asking me how many lines are there in figure 8. So over here we had to add 5 every time. Okay, so term 4 was 20 lines. So term 5 would be 25. Term 6, 30. Term 7, 35. And term 8 would be 40. You see what I did?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, number 5. They asked me, determine the general rule to find the number of dots in the nth term. Okay, so remember, dots is what we're working with over here. So can you see we've got a constant difference? The board is in the front.
Right, ma'am, I'm dyeing my shoelaces.
Okay. The constant difference is 3, or add 3 every time. So that's how I knew it would be term 3. Term n is equal to 3n. Now you use term 1 to go and work out what I'm going to add or subtract. So it would be 3n plus 2. I didn't write out all the steps there, but if you guys want, I can.
It's fine.
But I thought this one was easy enough. Okay, can I skip?
Yeah.
Yeah. We at D. Exercise 5. D. We're now going to mark number 6. That's at the bottom of page 77. Okay, good. So now at number 6, they asked me how many dots are there in the 186th term. So I had to say this was my general formula. So now I go substitute in 186. So term 186 would be 3 times 186. What is that? It must be plus 12. Sorry. I don't know where my lines go. My lines sometimes disappear or move. Okay, plus 2. You guys fine with that? And if you do that, no, I'll still say no. If you do that on the calculator, it's going to give you 5. It's going to give you 560. Any questions there? Right, number 7. Which figure will contain 272 dots? So now I know the answer of the dots. I know how many dots there are, but I don't know the term number. So I need to go and work out n. So what we do is we make that formula equal to 272, right? Now the first step would be to get rid of that plus 2. And how do I do that? I'm going to say minus 2. But if I do it on the one side, I've got to do it on the other side as well. So that's how I got to 3n is equal to 270. Who doesn't understand? Okay. Were you fine up until there?
Yes, ma'am.
You sure? Okay, now I have got to get rid of that plus 2 because the main goal is to get n alone. I can't work with that 3 yet, so I first need to get rid of this plus 2. Okay, so we do the inverse of it. So because that's plus 2, I'm going to say let's minus 2. Because plus 2 minus 2 is going to give me 0. So then I am eliminating that part. But I can't just do it on this side of the equation. I also have to do it on that side of the equation. Okay. Now, if I go do that, 3n plus 2 minus 2 is just going to be 3n. Now, over here, 272 minus 2 is going to give me, dis dalk hoekom jy twyfel. Or did it now move again? Yeah, sorry, it moved again. Sien julle hoe spring my goed rond? Okay, so it's supposed to be 270, no? Now, I have to get rid of that coefficient, the 3. And that's actually 3 times n, no? So how do I get rid of that 3? I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to say divide by 3. And if I do it on the left-hand side, I've got to do it on the right-hand side. So then I'm going to have n is equal to 90. You guys fine with that? Any questions? Good. Then I think number 8. Oh, so right at the bottom, you'll see that I just wrote term 90 is equal to 272. But if you didn't do that last step, if you didn't write this, it doesn't matter. You wouldn't have lost a mark. Yeah.
Is it fine if I do that extra step where it says
Over here. Yeah. Won't be wrong. You can always write too much. Okay? You will never lose marks if you write too much in math. But if you write too little, steps-wise, you could lose out marks. Okay? But be careful. With writing lots of steps also comes less time. So dis 'n fyn balans wat jy moet vind. Yes, did you have a question? Okay, can I skip? All right. Now, number 8. Number 8, they're asking me to determine the general rule to find the number of lines in the nth figure. Now, that one was 5, 10, 15, 20, etc. So we just added 5 every time. No. So I started by saying term n is equal to 5n. And then if I substituted n, term 1, I saw I got the same answer. Then I tried it with term 2, so it gave me the same thing. So I didn't have to add or subtract anything. It's just term n is equal to 5n. That's it. Okay. You fine with that? Then at number 9, they're saying, determine the general rule. No, I'm lying. How many lines are there in the 900th figure? So all I had to do is substitute in. Term 900 would be 5 times 900. So your answer should be 4,500. Okay. Then the last one. Which figure will contain 650 lines? So now they're giving me the final answer. They're telling me that the final answer is 650 lines. So that's why I go make the 650 equal to my equation, the 5n. Now I've got to get rid of that 5, and we said that's 5 times n. So to get rid of the times 5, we do the opposite. We go say divide by 5, but I do it on both sides. No, and that's how I got to n is 130. So you can say term 130 is equal to 650. Any questions there? Okay. Number F. Is anyone still copying? Julle is pas aan die slaap, né? Ek sien vir julle. F. Consider the diagram made up of black dots. Now, number 1, how many dots are there in figure 1? Now, I don't know if you guys saw, but figure 1 has got 1 and then a dot right above it. Figure 2 has got 2 dots vertically, 2 dots horizontally. Do you see that? Figure 3 has got 3 horizontal, 3 vertical, and then you fill in obviously the rest. No. Okay, so if I added those dots up, term 1 had 2 in total, term 2 had 5, term 3 had 10, and term 4 had 17. So if I go look for a constant difference, you'll see the first difference is not the same. But if I go do the second difference, now it's the same. And that is our clue that it would be n to the power of 2. Good. So number 1, they're asking me, how many dots are there in figure 5? So now I know it's going to be 5 like that and 5 like this, meaning 25, and then plus 1, so 26. Or, different way, have a look, because that I did not write. I wanted to show you guys. Over here we said the difference is, okay, constant second difference must be 2. Nay. Okay, so 3 plus that 2 gave me 5. Plus 2 gave me 7. Plus 2 gave me 9. Okay, now, so I'm doing the opposite of what we have been doing. 17 plus 9 will give me 26. Do you guys see that I could have filled it in like that as well? If you had no other clue how to do it. All right. Good. So number 2. How many dots are there in figure 6? Okay, so let's fill in the rest. Let's try. So constant second difference must be 2. 9 plus 2 will be 11. And 26 plus 11 will be 37. Can you see over there? 37? Do you guys see it? And you understand how I got there? Good. Okay, now number 3. Describe the pattern in words. Now, I didn't write it out because most of you will have something different. How did you guys describe the rule?
It's a quadratic. When I say it's a quadratic, that's the reason we have the number.
If I'd have to say, I'd say start with 2, add 3 to get the next term. From there on, whatever you added previously, that and 2 more you add to get the next term. Anything like that you could have written. Do you guys understand?
So what did you say now?
I said term 1, I start with 2. Then I add 3 to get 5, my term 2. From there on, I add what I previously did plus 2. So meaning now next I'm going to add 3 plus 2, so that's how I get to the 5. Now for the next one, what I previously added, meaning the 5 plus 2, that's how I get the 7. Do you guys get it? Right. So number 4. Determine the general rule to find the number of dots in the nth figure. Can you guys see that now that you've been taught how to get the formula? It's easier to write the formula instead of the wording. No. Okay, so we knew that because it's second difference, I am going to have term n is equal to n squared, but I don't know the rest yet. Okay, so then we said we use term 1. So term 1 will be, kyk, het my goed weggeskryf, would be 1 to the power of 2. And that gives me 1. And how much is term 2? Term 1? 2. Okay, it's supposed to be 2. So what did I have to do? Plus 1. Okay, so let's test it here at term 2. Let me just get that 2. I don't know where that one came from.
It's from the 26.
Oh. Hoe op aarde het ek hom hier gekry? Okay, dankie. Okay, so term 2 would have been 2 to the power of 2, which gives me 4. But what is term 2 actually? 5. So I would have to go and add 1. So can you see it's the same? So that is why my general rule, kykie. There we go. So it would be n squared plus 1.
Oh, there you put it. Sorry.
Yeah, right at the bottom. Have you got it?
Yes,
Any questions there? Last one. How many dots are there in the 50th figure? Okay, so then we just go substitute in. So term 50 would be 50 squared plus 1, which is going to give me 2,501. Okay, good. I think you guys are fine with exercise 5, but exercise 4 was slightly more difficult.
Yes, ma'am.
No, so as revision, and initially I was going to let you guys do that old test today because next time I would see you, you were going to write. But now we scored an extra day. So I want to do exercise 4. Remember last time you did the first column? So now we're going to do the second column, B, E, H, and K. So on Wednesday, when I see you guys again, we're going to mark this and then do the test. Okay. You guys fine? Because you're now only writing on Friday. Good. Yes. Previous slide. Okay. Tell me when you're done. Okay. Anyone else still copying here? Okay. There we go. Okay. So once you've copied everything down, then you guys can get started. It's only 4. Okay? Remember, at that question it says, for each of the following sequences, determine the general rule and the 100th term. So those two things. Okay, off you go.